Hey everybody, it's the last day of 2018. I've seen a lot of people post their top 9 lists and photos and things like that, and I've seen some really great stuff out there, and I wanted to do something of my own. Over the course of the last year, campaigning and whatnot, we ended up with thousands of photos, and so I can't even imagine the time it would take to narrow that down to 9, but I did want to call out 9 things that I'm proud of from this past year and the impact that it's had on me, and I hope the impact that these things will continue to have across the state, and a couple that are a little bit more personal too. But number 9 for me is all of our great energized county committees. Some of these county committees had lapsed because of lack of involvement, and when election season started, they all got fired up, and what's been amazing to see, even post-election, all these people are staying involved and they're building off of what they learned during the election cycle. And so I'm thrilled to have these organizations, the Democratic county committees, fired up and ready to go and get some work done and being a constant presence in the community. Number 8 for me, this one's much more personal. My wife got a promotion. Rhiannon is an impeccable human being. She has a work ethic second to none, believe me. Rhiannon, I always say, could run for office full time, have a full-time job, working for a Fortune 1 company, and do all the other wonderful things that she does. And I have a hard time doing one without her help. So having her get that promotion really, as a campaign, kicked up incredibly the last few months, and going through that process of transitioning to having new teams under her and things like that was an incredible amount of work, and I'm so proud of her, and oh my gosh, I'm so lucky to have her, y'all. Number 7 is something that I think is great for the state of Arkansas, and it says a lot of good things to come for Arkansas. When we talk about Little Rock, you know, we're known very much for the Little Rock 9. And this year, Little Rock elected its first African-American mayor, Frank Scott. Frank Scott gets sworn in tomorrow. Rhiannon and I are going to drive down for the inauguration. I'm really excited about it. And we have had black mayors before in Little Rock. They were appointed. This is the first time someone's been elected. With Frank, too, what an incredible amount of energy around him, the campaign, and the city of Little Rock. I think that was an energy that a lot of us were looking for in different races across the state, and we saw some of it, but man, what a highlight to the end of the year to see a man run a campaign on a vision of unity, to get up and give his acceptance speech and immediately talk about the wonderful diversity of Little Rock and all the people there, no matter your orientation, your gender, your skin color, your faith. To hear him call those things out before he said anything else, and saying that we're here for you, this is your party, that gave me a very, very big smile, and I look forward to seeing that energy spread across the state. Number 6, this one's very personal for me, and I'm going to figure out what to do with myself, so you guys are going to get tired of me probably. I rolled off the Single Parent Scholarship Fund Board. Today is my last day officially there. I went on that board almost a decade ago, and the work with helping mostly single moms at the poverty line work to achieve an education, work to help them get those higher skills that were going to help them earn higher wages, and all of the challenges that they endure every day. It's informed the way I approach life. It's informed all my approaches to being involved in politics. I'm here because of it. And I gotta tell you, if you want someone to get something done that's going to be phenomenal at it, find you a single mom that's had to bust her butt because nobody else is there for her, and she wants to take care of her family and provide a better life for them. She will get things done. And I'm inspired by the scholars from that program every day, and I'm inspired by single moms across the country every day. Number 5 is it's actually a group of people and the work that they did. Betty Atkins, Janet Corley, Harry Farrow, Donna Curtis, Daniela Scott, and many more, but these were some resistors that I've gotten to know that have routinely made trips to Washington, D.C. to protest for health care, to raise awareness about Dr. Ford's testimony. Some really, really incredible people. And, I'm proud that they let me visit with them and hang out with them now and then. And, man, if you don't know Betty Atkins, you're just missing out, y'all. Number 4 is the endorsement that I'm most proud of that we got during the campaign. Ozark Indivisible endorsed us. And, we got some fun endorsements during the campaign. I had a call at one point from Julian Castro's staff where he had asked specifically to endorse us. And they called to see if that would be okay with us. After I checked the phone number a few times to make sure it was legit, of course we agreed to it. But still, as cool as that was, having the endorsement of Ozark Indivisible, a community-driven organization right here in our backyard, will always mean the most to me. We're running for the community when we ran, and all the work that I'm going to keep doing, and I believe a lot of, my wife and a lot of the folks around the campaign are going to stay involved with, is community-driven. And so I feel like, hopefully that's an indicator that we did a few things right. Number 3 is the kids. And I mean the kids as in young adults, really. It was such a powerful year to see children in high school and in college, young adults making their way in the world, get involved in ways they haven't been before. I think we made some progress on issues that we've been hemming and hawing about for a long time because our youth got involved. And it lets me know that even though we have hard days ahead, that we've got good people coming up, and they're going to keep fighting for us. So thank you to you guys. Number 2 and number 1, I have a hard time putting these in any kind of order, by the way, but number 2 and number 1 are probably the most significant, and I don't want to tell you which one's 1 or 2, but let's just talk about them both. 1 is the recognition of the Latinx community as a political force in a community that deserves to be heard in Arkansas. Now, we've got some great advocates, Irvin Camacho, Juan Manuel, Blanca Estevez, who are doing phenomenal work. And finally, people took the time to listen to them at the state level in a way they haven't before. And that community deserves to have a voice. They have committed to building a lot of what we enjoy in Northwest Arkansas, to improving the quality of life here. The businesses that allow our community to thrive have been because of the Latinx community's desire to come and live a better life here. And there have been a lot of unsung heroes who have done work to build us all into one community, but our politics until recently has not given them the proper respect that they deserve, and it's finally starting to happen. And I look forward to that continuing to grow, and I can't wait to see what comes of it. I think we've made some very low-key but very, very successful progress here in Northwest Arkansas. And instead of being quiet about it, we should be proud of it. The other one is the women that ran for office in Arkansas. We had a great number of female candidates in the 3rd District. Many of them won. Many of them were gun sense candidates. Nicole Clowney, Denise Garner, Megan Godfrey. I am proud to have them in Little Rock. I am proud that women got tired of seeing us mess everything up like we always do and decided to get involved. And, it usually comes down to a mom to have the sensibilities to do things right. So I think that we're in for a very, very promising period ahead, having folks like that representing us, to having women involved in office. It's just been a spectacular thing to see, and it makes me hopeful, just like having the kids involved, just like the fact that we've had the common sense finally to recognize our Latinx communities, things like that. So I'm very enthusiastic about going into 2019. It is going to be a hard year. Don't get me wrong. We're going to reap what we sow. So let's plant early, and let's make sure that we're ready to keep building on the progress that we've made, because things will not be fixed overnight. We've had our social norms eroded. We've got agencies within the United States government that are understaffed or staffed with people there that are there to explicitly deconstruct them. Not only that, we've eroded our moral authority around the world and our economic authority. These are going to take time to rebuild. And the good news, though, is that we know that we have fighters, and we know that they're dedicated, and we know that we can do the work. So we're going to get it done. Looking ahead to 2019, there are three things I want to mention. Number one, I'm going to keep working to raise awareness around these requirements in Arkansas Works. The work requirement that has kicked off 17,000 people. I grew up in a town that's just above 18,000 in El Dorado. That number to me is horrific. These are not work requirements. They are cruel bureaucratic hoops. We have a website that hardly works. It's only on during business hours, so God forbid that you have to work a job on different shifts that would keep you from going to a library during business hours. Also keeping in mind that a lot of Arkansas doesn't have rural broadband. So your options are to take the day off from work and hope somebody can drive you to a library, and then hope the website's working right to update your work requirements. I'm going to keep fighting it. I'm going to keep helping find other people to run for office to fight it. And that does bring me to number two. Number two, I'm going to keep working to recruit candidates to run for State House and do my best to offer advice to anybody that wants to run for office as a progressive in Arkansas. I've had a lot of good conversations already. I've got some people I need to catch up with again, of course. But we're going to keep building. By the way, if you supported those work requirements, expect a Democratic opponent in 2020. They're going to come for you. Last but not least, I'm working on establishing a chapter of the New Leaders Council in Northwest Arkansas. Well, not just Northwest Arkansas, I should say. I've started up here, but it will be a statewide chapter. We're getting our brain trust together. If you're not familiar with the New Leaders Council, it's an organization that helps develop entrepreneurial, progressive thought leaders. They train people to run for office. They train people to work on campaigns. They also have a wonderful entrepreneurial bent, and they even help people start businesses. It's a very, very interesting program. They have a huge commitment to diversity, and they make an impact very, very fast. I'll be in D.C. in February to meet with some more folks at the national office on making progress there. And hopefully we should have some announcements coming in March once we get our board together and things like that. But I look forward to having those campaign workshops going. They do it more like a cohort. It lasts for 6 months, y'all. And their campaign training is different because it is a 6-month program. But it's one Saturday a month for 6 months. But if you've ever gone to any type of training on how to work in a campaign or how to run for office, it might be a day long, and if you're lucky, it's 2 days long. This program, even though it only requires one Saturday a month for 6 months, has work that goes on between. It allows you to kind of come back and forth, but it asks you to really be involved in the community in different ways. And so when you finish with the program, you should walk away with some great knowledge on diversity, inclusion, and equity, how to be a great campaign manager, how to be a great candidate. And I'm looking forward to what we can do for Arkansas, what we can do with developing those leaders here in the state. I think that's about it, y'all. 2018 was an interesting year. 2019, I think, is going to be even more interesting. We're going to see some great things happen, but y'all, again, it's going to be hard. We've got Mueller's report coming out, lots of interesting entanglements within the United States government worldwide, and we've got a border crisis we still need to resolve because this idiot wall keeps getting pushed out there. Instead of recognizing people that come to the border as refugees seeking asylum, we've got a lot to do. We're going to keep doing it. Have a happy new year, and I look forward to seeing you in 2019.